And like I said, when I went to put my seatbelt on, that just decided to leave the chat. All right, so I wanted to make this video to show what happened to me the other day in my truck, which was a little bit scary and a little bit concerning. So I wasn't at home. I jumped in my truck. I go to grab my seatbelt and I take it and I pull it, and then this whole thing comes disconnected from the anchor point, and now I don't have a seatbelt in my truck. If you take off this rubber boot, you can see there's a steel cable in here. This steel cable has been frayed and come off. GM had a recall back in 2016 to correct an issue with the plastic around these seat belts. I don't know if that was enough, but this seat belt has come frayed, and honestly, now that it's come undone, it's been kind of eye-opening. How long have I been driving around with a defective, faulty seat belt? I went to my dealership, my local dealership, and I said, hey, my seat belt came undone. This truck has 183,000 miles on it, so not an insane amount of miles, a lot of miles, but these trucks should go further. But honestly, a seatbelt should never fail. So I went to my dealership the other day. I said, hey, this came apart, you know, what are you gonna do about it? And they said, well, after going back and forth a little bit, you know, they wanted $180 to diagnose the problem, which, here's the problem. They said, well, let us talk to our GM rep and we'll be in touch. So I had to call them back, of course. They never reached back out to me. Basically what they said is, we fixed the recall on your truck in 2016. All your recalls are up to date. If you want to fix the issue, you can bring it in and it'll cost $500. And I think that's kind of absurd. And honestly, if they're going to replace it with this, a part that's already faulty and breaking, I don't want that same part in my truck. So I'm going to figure out a way to do this differently. I don't know. I mean, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not saying that you should do this or that this is a fix for this issue. I'm simply just showing you what I'm going to do, because currently I don't have a seatbelt right now, and it's been very annoying just to get around. I've had to borrow a car. Yeah, it's been an issue, and I don't know. I hope GM recognizes this problem and maybe takes action and fixes it in the future. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. So here on the side of the truck, this is where your seatbelt feeds down into. And like I said, when I went to put my seatbelt on, that just decided to leave the chat. So you can see right there, there's a steel cable that attaches down to the seat bracket. That steel cable has completely frayed and is utterly useless. Now, given, like I said earlier, I don't know how long I've been driving around with a faulty seatbelt that could have just, if I had gotten into a serious accident, could have just, you know, not held up. So also, if you notice, this hole here is kind of cut out larger. That's what the factory did in 2016 as their recall to help alleviate what was going on with the frayed seatbelts and them coming undone. Now, if you hadn't bought the truck already, they replaced this entire piece with one that had been updated and they had deemed acceptable. But if you own the truck, all they simply did was just cut it out, and you can kind of see they didn't do the best job of making straight line cuts. But let's see if we can get this plastic molding off the side of the truck and go from there. Looks like there's a bolt in the back. I'm gonna go to the back and get that. Set that to the side. And then we've got this guard. So this right here screws into that plastic guard. It's a T15. So here is the seatbelt mechanism. as you can see, there's a wire plugged into it, because what happens when you get into an accident, this cable is supposed to be sucked down into this tube, tightening it down, making sure your seatbelt is tight. But as you can see, that cable was frayed and just failed just after normal wear and tear and use. So what holds it into place is this big bolt. So I'm going to take that off. So I've taken that off. It's a T50 bolt. So here's the issue. If you unplug this electric sensor, it's going to give you an airbag warning. So I'm going to simply just tuck this out of the way and leave it down here connected. So how I'm going to fix this, I bought this 1-foot seatbelt extender. So I'm going to bolt that in where the T50 bolt was and hook it up that way. All right, so I have used the seatbelt extender. I attached the other mechanism back to it just so that it would stay out of the way. There was a bracket that went with it. So I took that bracket off. I'm not using the bracket, and the bolt is flush with the back side of the hole, so there's enough engagement for that T50 bolt that I feel that it should be safe, because it's not safe with the frayed cable. All right, so you've got this sort of clamshell plastic piece that holds this end of the seatbelt together. So this cover, I simply pried off here from the bottom, took that off. When you get in here, this silver piece is snapped into this plastic piece, so you just pry back the plastic tabs, take that off, and then you've got one, I believe this is it's a T30 bolt. So I went ahead, undid that. It's finger tight right now, and then this silver piece will come up and off the this eyelet here. All right, I'm taking my side trim piece, plugging all my electrics back in. And then I'm running this seatbelt section up through it. All right, I'm gonna throw this seatbelt on now. All right, I've got my seatbelt on. It's anchored now at the bottom, so I'm not gonna go anywhere if I were to get into an accident. So again, I'm not telling you this is what you need to do to your truck. I'm not telling you that this is how you fix this issue. This is what I did. This is solely up to my discretion, so don't do this to your vehicle. The reason I did this is just to show that GM seatbelts are faulty. If you have a 2014 to 2018 GMC Sierra or Silverado, I would go in and I would check your seatbelts and make sure that they haven't frayed like mine did. I'm just bringing this issue up, letting people know about it. So I just wanted to show that there was an issue with the seatbelts in the 2014 to 2018 GMC Sierras and Chevy Silverados. If this, save someone's life, that would be amazing. I'm just kind of blown away at how long I've been driving around with a seatbelt that has been in a situation that would not save my life. Had I been in a serious accident, it would have for sure killed me, and I would have been ejected from this seat, you know. And simply all I did was pull my seatbelt like I always do, buckle it up, and the anchor point, that cable was frayed, and yeah, it simply didn't work. So yeah, make sure you check your seatbelts, and I'll see you next time.